Welcome back aboard for part 2 of Shipping TV's unique video series, North Sea Ro-Ro, filmed as we sailed to Rotterdam and back aboard DFDS Seaways, freight-only Ro-Ro ferries, Suecia Seaways and Selandia Seaways. Today we're aboard Suecia Seaways. Now in part 2 we've just left the berth and are heading out towards the open sea. The day is overcast, but very light winds are forecast for our trip, and the weather should brighten up by the time we reach Rotterdam. The ship isn't quite fully loaded. There's space for a few more trailers, but this void in the stowage is deliberate to allow turning space for trailer tugs when we unload. As we're heading out, the bridge workload lightens, so we can have a chat with the captain.
When I started my career, I started at 18 years old as dishwasher on the route between Esbjerg and Harwich. And later on I went to be a cadet. After training ship in Denmark, I went to DFDS as apprentice for only a few years. Then I continued as normally decorating, because I was on some of these DFDS ships that were sold out in the early 80s or mid 80s because of the economic crisis for the company at that time. So I was in few other companies after navigation school, where I went in Copenhagen. I was finished in 87 and started in DFDS as young deck officer in February 88. And since that I have been for many years in the company. The last 5 years I've been here on Suecia Seaways. It's my second period here as captain. And now we are trading between Rotterdam and Felixstowe. It is a nice job. It was hard in the start because we should take this PEC license. So we avoid to take any pilots. So we save a lot of time now. So it's good.
So you can handle the ship at both ends. You don't need a pilot.
No, we don't need. The only thing we need is some rest hours. So our chief officer have also PEC license for Felixstowe. So he relieved me and take now and then the arrival or departures in Felixstowe. But it's depending. This route is It's very busy now. It's nearly full ship all the time, and that is also very good. So the company just start up with also a Friday departure, both from Rotterdam and Felixstowe, and that shows up that it is busy. When we started for 5 years ago, the cargo volume was low. It had to turn around, so you can see what happened. Maybe there's 3 ships now on the route. 2 sister ships, where Suecia Seaways is one of them, and then Selandia Seaways. And then there's the small Selandia Seaways. I think the route is it's a good route, but there's a very huge competition between Stena Line and Copper Freight. They all have routes more than once a day. Between the Rotterdam area and the UK. So it is tough. You can see here just in front of us we have one of the 2 sister ships, Severin Campuchine. We always have a challenge with them in and out of harbour. And then we have the Stena Line, the huge Ropax ferries, Stena Britannica and Stena Hollandica, huge ships,
It's unusual to be able to have a stroll round a modern freighter's engine room while the ship is underway. But Chief Engineer Bo Pedersen offered a quick tour, and we immediately said, yes please. The engine room starts just after the main mast here and includes decks 1 and 2. The principal engine room working spaces are on deck 2, and that's where we're heading first. We're starting at the switch room where electrical power is controlled and distributed.
Right now we are using approximately 900 kilowatts.
And
That's
that's
because we are working on the scrubber system as well, where we are cleaning the exhaust gas, and that needs a lot of water for cleaning. So approximately 900 kilowatts right now.
The ship has 3 generators to provide power for all its electrical needs, ranging from domestic uses to reefer plugs, bow thrusters to scrubber system. These run on gas oil, that's diesel fuel, just like cars and trucks ashore. Here are the fuel separators. The first 2 clean up the main engine's heavy fuel oil, and the third cleans diesel oil. This second set cleans up the ship's lubricating oil as it circulates back from the engine. Suecia Seaways also makes her own drinking water by a distillation process. The water comes out safe and pure. It's also filtered, chemically treated, and finally UV treated to ensure its purity. This freshwater supply delivers water to the ship's domestic hot and cold system. The ship's main propulsion engines rise up from deck 1 to deck 2, with plenty of access for service needs. The engines are rated at 10,800 kilowatts each. That's roughly 14,400 horsepower per unit. They drive variable pitch propellers linked directly to the bridge controls, so power and direction changes can be applied quickly and seamlessly. The main engines are also equipped with electrical generators driven from the propeller shafts, so the auxiliary diesel generators can be turned off when the ship is underway. This pair of pumps draw high volumes of water from the sea chest into the scrubber system, but before we get to that, we just have to stop to see a major part of Suecia Seaways' firefighting system, 26 tons of liquid CO2 capable of killing a fire in any of the ship's enclosed spaces. The exhaust gas leaving these funnels is mainly steam, and the large white structure here houses the scrubber equipment. Scrubber technology has a straightforward aim, but it's expensive to buy into. Conventional heavy fuel oil is a relatively cheap fuel, but it does produce polluting sulfur dioxide and other pollutants. And DFDS Seaways has been busy installing scrubber systems across a range of its ships. Raw exhaust gas enters at the top of the narrower cylinder and travels down. It then travels up the wider cylinder, and 99% of sulfur dioxide is removed. In this system, as it's operating at present, the main pollutant is voided to the sea, but it can operate as a closed loop, so sulfur dioxide is stored and treated, rendering it harmless for disposal ashore while in port. Our final stop on this whistle-stop tour of Suecia Seaways is at the bow, where we're now standing by the bow thruster drives. Again, these use variable pitch propellers to allow fast responses to bridge controls.
Your job must be completely varied all the time.
Yes, one day you are dismantling the main engine, the next day you are fixing a light down in a room in the accommodation. Perhaps working on the toilet system, or somebody's toilet has clogged up, and we are on that one as well.
How did you get to become a chief engineer?
It's a progress. Of course, you get education, but then you need to have the entire. You start at the bottom of the food chain, so to speak, as being a junior engineer, and then you become third engineer, second engineer, first engineer, and then when you know everything, you become chief engineer.
When you know everything.
Exactly.
Excellent.
But you need to have a certain amount of sailing time before you can get your certificate for getting the next line, so to speak.
Now, you just showed me one of the pistons and one of the cylinder liners. That's a major job to take out, isn't it? That must be a big job.
Depending on which crew you have at the present, if you have experienced guys and so on, I would say changing the piston and liner and bearings takes around 7-8 hours.
So not that big a job.
No. We take a day out take one day doing it, but basically it's...
Would take you out of service for a day or not?
No, we just do it during harvest day.
Right.
So we never do any maintenance which would take us out of service, unless it's something that breaks down.
Big.
Which, luckily it does not happen that often.
Only because you look after it so well.
Some would say that, yes.
We're approaching the coast of Holland quickly now, with the bulk of the sea passage behind us. So come back and join us again for episode 3, when we'll be cruising up the new waterway from its entrance here towards the DFDS Rotterdam terminal just here. Then we have a chance to watch Captain Nielsen put Suecia Seaways through a 180 plus degrees swing and place her neatly alongside the berth after entering the basin stern first. We'll see you soon.